And one last note before we leave you, we had planned to run the annual Sunday Report news quiz tonight, but there was just too much news on this Christmas Eve. For CBC News, I'm Ian Hannah-Mansing. For all of us here, have a happy holiday if you're lucky enough to have one. I'll see you again tomorrow night. Stay tuned now for Venture with Robert Scully.
Good evening and season's greetings. I'm Robert Scully. 1990 will probably be a crucial year for the North American economy. We don't know if it'll be good or bad, but we do know that you don't want to face it without seeing our annual review of the winners and losers, the one we bring you every year. I'll also have an interview with one of the world's greatest living entrepreneurs. He may have some lessons to impart. But first, here's Liz Palmer's report on who won and lost big in 1989.
Their elation tells it all. Eastern Europeans count themselves the big winners of 1989.
Fantastic.
The year the wall came tumbling down, along with most of the communist governments of the Eastern Bloc. Trying to cash in on Glasnost, Brian Mulrooney took 200 investors to Moscow. He got a warm reception, but found that his reputation had not preceded him.
They knew Wayne Gretzky. About the Prime Minister's name?
Yes.
The losers in Glasnost? World Defense Contractors, who also took a blow in April when Canada's $8 billion submarines failed to surface in the budget. China's tentative steps towards joining the world economy came to a violent end in Tiananmen Square. The losers, the people of China. Their economy lost what little momentum it had as the West lost faith in China's leaders. Here at home at the beginning of the year, there was talk of recession, but it didn't come then. Canadians turned out to have money in their pockets and the will to spend it. That kept the economy rolling along, and there were winners here and there. But as the year unfolded, another pattern began to emerge, the high-profile losers. Traveling Canadians were big losers in 1989, minus half our Via Rail service and a third of the airline competition after Ward Air flew into the arms of Canadian Airlines. For lack of trains and planes, Canadians are buying cars, Asian cars. American car makers are singing the blues. Edmonton's Katie Lang was a winner at the Grammys for her duet with the late Roy Orbison, Crying. Crying for real, some big shots. Take out your handkerchiefs for Garth Drabinsky, who took his final bow from Cineplex, and Robert Campo, Venture's former dealmaker of the year. He lost control of his empire to the Reichmans. Also not smiling, two politicians. Brian Peckford took a flyer on free enterprise and fell flat, leaving Newfoundland taxpayers to swallow hard over the $20 million sprung cucumber pickle. And then there was Michael Wilson with a losing idea, the GST, and some winning understatement.
I'm the first to acknowledge that implementing the goods and services tax will not be popular.
And in Edmonton, Peter Pocklington, one-time king of hogs and hockey, lost his Gainers meatpacking plant for defaulting on a loan.
Therefore, the government of Alberta has taken control of Gainers Properties and Gainers Inc.
Takeovers pushed a couple of big players out of their executive suites this year, but they landed with golden parachutes.
Well, we're pretty choosy, too.
$4 million to Bill James when Noranda bought his company, Falconbridge, and $75 million to Max Ward of Ward Air. Pure gold to super promoter Murray Pezim.
We won, you son of a gun.
The Supreme Court said that Little Corona Corporation really does own the billion-dollar Hemlo gold field. The 24-carat loser, Lac Minerals. And Ken Thompson, the richest man in Canada, got a little richer this year when this part of his empire posted its first profit in 10 years. Kids made retailers happy in a year when no one else could.
That's cash then? Yeah.
Baby boomer babies are causing a little boom of their own. Books, kiddie fashion, and toys. Nintendo is the big winner, taking close to 13% of Canada's total toy market. And Barbie turns 30 this year. Still the teen dream, and yes, still going steady with Ken. With kids, McDonald's stays a winner. McFranchise number 600 went into Toronto's new Sky Dome. But McPackaging is a loser.
It still sits in the garbage dumps.
This year's kids order burgers, hold the styrofoam.
Can I have 8 hamburgers on a napkin, please? Oh, no.
The BC coast was an environmental loser. 1,500 oil and chemical spills this year, and pulp mill pollution shut down $1 million shellfish industry in November.
This is Colin Isaacs from Pollution Probe, and he'd like to tell you about...
Another loser, Pollution Probe. Its squeaky clean reputation was tarnished when it got into bed with the food chain Loblaws for money.
If you must use disposable diapers, then you should buy these green diapers.
Loblaws walked away from the deal a winner. Canada's new greengrocer, smiling all the way to the bank. Another winner, blue boxes for recycling garbage. 12 cities have them. Ontarians love them the most. In Toronto, more people use their blue boxes than vote in elections. No clear-cut prize in Alberta's forests. The government sold half the province's trees for pulp, $8 billion worth, and thought it was a winner, until Albertans spoke up against the deal their government had made.
Shame on you.
Poverty. Across Canada, the number of people who can't afford groceries is growing. 1.4 million were served at food banks this year. Labor lost 2 this year. 6,000 jobs gone from the Atlantic fishery as 3 national sea plants closed. And 30,000 manufacturing jobs in central Canada disappeared this fall. And finally, Venture's Dealmaker of the Year. It's a tie. Both winners are from Quebec, and both have maneuvered this year to position themselves powerfully for the 1990s. Bombardier's chairman, Laurent Baudouin.
There's risk. We're ready to take them. There's
Now.
Then, Canadians turned out to have money in their pockets and the will to spend it. That kept the economy rolling along, and there were winners here and there. But as the year unfolded, another pattern began to emerge, the high-profile losers.